gaming bets. Online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Starladder iLeague Star Series Season 3. We are going into what will be another quarterfinal, although technically things get a little bit interesting from here on out. Obviously, we look towards going into the semis, but if you win the semi, you don't go to a final, you go to LAN. I suppose it's LAN final, so technically that is the same case. Joining me today will be Mr. Hugo Byron, also known as It's Hugo TV, his favourite name. And I'm just going to throw up those maps for you, Hugo, and you can talk about your favourite teams.
I like Dignitas. I like, obviously going into this one, Cash going to be the opener, as you can see on your screens now. I can only assume. We are going to be having that as the map pick, obviously, of EnVyUs, a map they've been doing very, very well on recently. Currently 8-1, so not bad for them at all. GODSENT, a team that's never really, at least with the old roster, had too much of effect on Train, but they've actually gone for the pick, and judging off recent performance, they have been doing fairly well on that too. So, 5-1 on their respective map picks, not too bad for either team. And they decided are going to be left down to Cobble. So actually quite interesting maps for today, because when we go to Cobble, neither team has really played it too much to kind of have a fair assumption of how these teams are going to play. But as well as that, looking at the teams, both of them fairly newly formed rosters to some extent. So it's difficult to kind of predict matches like this, but it should definitely be an interesting one. And before we go in, Tom, I've got to know your prediction.
What did you say? You got to know what?
Your prediction.
My prediction.
Go back out of this one.
Oh, that's going to be a little bit interesting. I think I'm going to turn my game down a little bit because I couldn't hear what you said, which is a little bit worrying. But no, in terms of my prediction, just based on the previous performance, I think I'm actually going to go with Envy. I think GODSENT played very, very well, and against Heroic, it was a pretty difficult matchup, but I just, the map pool especially, because we saw them play Cash against Big. They were very, very good. They won 16-4. The exact same happened on Train as well. 16-4. Them looked very, very confident. XMS had an absolute field day. And they're the first two maps in the pool. Now, Cobble's one where they didn't do very well at all. They actually lost that game. Everybody was very quiet. Didn't really see any sort of magic that we'd seen previously. But I just think that if XMS is stepping up, and then you've obviously got the likes of Scream already in the mix, I think they could be very, very strong. And in terms of, as said, the map's just looking very, very good for them. Either way, we are into the pistol round. We're underway. A little bit of utility coming in, but mainly more interested in the aggression coming out from Doppler at the moment.
Just so I can quote myself on this later, I'm going to just flip things up to be interesting. I'm going to vote for GODSENT in this best of three, even though it's unlikely, but I'm going to go with it. But anyway, into the pistol, as you say, Envy, they're going to be setting up outside of 8 just early on. Bit of utility on Scream, rest of them just going to be on this body armor as per usual. And actually bringing the utility back in towards middle along with the bomb, pulling Happy off of the anchor over towards A. So it seems like they are going to be hitting into a bit of a B play, with the smokes being set up over towards the B main area instead of down through garage. It's unlikely they're going to be going for this vent split unless Happy does something very, very late. We know he's the luck player for EnVyUs. So they're just going to be setting up here. Only one player on the site. That's Schneider. He has a good angle here. Obviously a headshot one, but he's got to land some serious taps if he wants to delay this push so he can allow for the rotation to come in. But here comes the flash, here comes the smoke, and here comes the push from EnVyUs.
Schneider with a lot to do here, just going to be trying to hold down the angle, but he gets wrecked straight away. RPK will be there to take off his head, and this leaves Pronax as the closest person to the action, but the bomb's going to be going down very, very comfortably. Obviously, all the utility here is gone. Scream's got his trusty P250. We've already seen some magic from him just days ago in this exact scenario. But let's see how we're actually going to see this rotate coming in. Now, there is a kit at the moment onto Pronax, so they do have a little bit of extra time, but they've got to make their way in, and it's got to be quick. And they're all going to be coming in through the lower side, but they're getting destroyed. Only Doppler left, and he'll get flanked, meaning that it is going to be 1-0 to Envy, and they took that very comfortably.
Yeah, very clean stuff there. I like that. GODSENT unable to get back in through the CT spawn to go for the retake, just completely thrown into the mincemeat. And now they're going to be forcing things up. EnVyUs looking at their buy, very SMG based. Tom, I'm getting triggered just looking at it. We got Scream on the Galil. Thank God. The savior for the team and the savior for my sanity as the rest of the team buy up. But double Mac 10 and double UMP. I don't really like to talk too much about these second round buys on the T side because it's fairly standard, but this isn't. This is a weird one. Obviously, just trying to farm up some money. Those UMPs you can bring into the buys, but specifically on the T side, you kind of want to base your play around rifles more so, because while you can control the distance of your engagements on the CT side when you pick up those UMPs into buy rounds, on the T side it's less easy, because if GODSENT just play passive positions once they go into their buys, these UMPs are going to be rendered fairly useless. So it's a big risk, but either way, it's not certain Envy will be bringing all these guns into the next round anyway, considering GODSENT they do have a plethora of pistols on their side.
Yeah, a little bit of early aggression came out from the CT side already. They took a main, gave it straight back and fell away. This is actually a buy that we've seen Envy do recently, at least in every single second round. They were very happy to just buy up. I think it was only in the last map where things were getting a little bit dicey, where they decided, okay, let's go a little bit safer. But in this round, at least, they're going to look to explode out onto this A site. There is a rotation ready from Twist, and Schneider, again, it looks like he switches sites, and he's still going to be the lone man once more to try and do the damage. They don't have a kit. They've got one flashbang on Pronex, so getting back into the site is not going to be easy. So this relies a lot on Schneider to do the work.
Yeah, Flash is going in. They're going to take control of the site. Very, very easy so far. GODSENT not putting up any kind of aggression just to stop this one. Twist is pushed up along with Schneider towards the forklift, but they've just given this bomb site for free. They're going in for the retake, and it's actually working out quite well. That being said, the SMGs will again reign supreme at the end of the day. It's a spray down of headshots here from the side of EnVyUs, all onto Schneider, and there's just simply nothing he can do here. He's just going to be overrun. One quick kill. Does try and tap away. What is happening? He runs out of ammo. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. And he's going to get taken down from Scream there. 2-0 for EnVyUs. So keep 3 players alive as well. So going to start to build up that bank. And GODSENT, well, talking about bank, they've got nothing to play with in this round.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what we expect to see in these sort of situations if the second round buy. As you said, it was risky, but the reward does come in as they get to not only just buy very, very cheaply, but get some extra money from those SMGs. Obviously, every kill that comes in from those is $600, unless, of course, using the trusty P90, which I would never recommend. But we are going to have just this similar buy once more. They'll buy up an extra rifle onto XMS. No point reinvesting into an SMG when you've already got 3 on the board, and you could just send them aggressive. Happy, trusty Lurk Roll going to be trying to get himself the kill. Eventually gets only got 3 bullets left, so does have to be a little bit careful, but Doppler going to allow him to reload on the other side of the map. Pronex will be able to get a couple. That's a nice shot as well, so at least making things costly. They haven't yet lost a rifle, however, so at the moment it's not really too much of a problem, but with another kill coming in, extra money being made, of course, for utility and nades in the next round, and even the chance to win now for GODSENT.
Yeah, really good opportunity. And Pronex getting aggressive, trying to scout something out, maybe get some information to allow his teammates to have more knowledge on the whereabouts of EnVyUs, because at the end of the day, if Pronex clears out middle here without spotting Scream, he's going to know this is a B play. But no, Scream finds a headshot, and that could completely tear the rotation back towards the A site for EnVyUs. They're expecting a solo B anger player as the aggression comes in from Pronex, and they will read it right. Doppler's going to be alone on B. EnVyUs have got control of A in just a mere matter of seconds. And frankly, there's not much for him to save, but a retake is going to be very, very difficult here without any armor or utility.
Yeah, getting down to the 30-second mark. They still don't seem dedicated to this A site. Scream's position does suggest that they are going to be heading in this direction, but smoke going out. The bomb's still making its way back in the other direction. Them splitting up in this scenario is not something I'm agreeing with at all. Doppler getting a little bit sketchy on his position, but there's not really any reason for him to rotate. This is madness. XMS could have to push into the site. He's only got 9 seconds to get the bomb down. Doppler could actually end this round in his tracks, and that's it. Screen has to go running. There's no time. They've just lost a round for absolutely no reason at all, especially considering Scream had just cleared A.
Congratulations, EnVyUs. You played yourself. They read too deep into that one, I think, Tom. They could have just gone for the A site, but nope. They send the player back, and that gets them back, or gets them stabbed in the back, I guess, by Doppler. So great stuff there for GODSENT, and specifically Disco back on the site. As we can see, EnVyUs, now they are going to be buying up again to try and force things back into their favor. Obviously, a reset is just on the edge of things as GODSENT. But I do have a full buy coming up into this one, considering it was Nico, and they saved a lot of cash from the previous round. Even that being said, these Tech 9s and AKs, they can be deadly here for EnVyUs. There's definitely potential for them to exploit and for them to get the reset of the GODSENT, which could be so detrimental. But either way, going to be set up towards this boost. Two players very up very early, and potentially just going for this mid split in towards the A site. We've got RPK and Sixer setting up nades towards middle. That's going to be vent Molotovs, sandbag Molotovs. He's clearing out all the positions so they can take fast mid control. And the Z connector smoke is going to be perfect to disallow Pronax from getting anything here. He has no idea that EnVyUs have so many players pushed up.
Schneider's position going to be absolutely crucial. He's looking towards highway. This is where they push from, but he's not going to get anything. A little bit of extra damage, but that's about it. Twist on the site. They line up, but he can't quite get RPK. It is going to be a quick trade as Pronax manages one, and it's back down to a 2 versus 3.
Oh, Scream almost getting his teammate. RPK does cross though, and the bomb will go down. That nade not going to land well enough, but oh no, the molly spreads, and that will do it. Lekro takes down RPK. Now only 2 players remain here for EnVyUs. This is looking difficult, despite them having the bomb down in their favor where they can actually pick it up. The time is just ticking away, and Happy, he's going to get caught out in connector as well. Doppler just holding the flank. This man is on fire today, and now Scream, he's going to have to pull out some hefty taps as he's left alone over towards the forklift. Not a lot of time remaining, but they are at least giving him the potential of getting this bomb plant. They're not contesting this one at all, so he will commit to that plant down on the default spot. Issue is he can't play a main from that, or if he does, it's going to be very dangerous because he cannot stop a defuse, and these guys, well, Doppler at least has a kit. That being said, the flank is coming out, and this is going to be perfectly timed from Doppler.
Yeah, Doppler with that flank is going to give him a good avenue to actually take this round back. Scream going to turn, but Doppler too quick on the trigger, and another round coming out from GODSENT. The bomb plant will mean that there's a potential for a little bit of investment into the next round from this T side, but not anything too crazy. Although, I've got to ask you a question, Hugo. Do you force in this scenario? They only had 2 players left. They can get 3 rifles on the board, an SMG or 2. They're not going to do it, but no, from your perspective, is it worth it or not?
The thing, right? You look at the old EnVyUs, right, on this map, famously one of their better maps. I'm talking old EnVyUs, right? They were just so effective at these force buys. It just kind of like the old EFrag MK style. Just buy up, Tet 9s, buy armor, go for that smoke over on the A site, and just rush in. And they always did very, very well with it. It was actually surprisingly effective. But they've actually, to be honest, got a similar buyout. They've got some deagles, they've got some armor, but at the cost of not having to fully invest. So they can still get some potential to pick up some rifles, do some economic damage, but also not risk their economy going into the later stages of this map. It's just safer to eco despite their history. And obviously the players being different as well is a bit of a handicap. But at the end of the day, no, this is a fairly safe buy. They've invested a little bit, but it's not going to be the be-all and end-all of their money.
Yeah, from the other perspective as well, GODSENT, they want to keep this round as clean as humanly possible. Their money is not looking too good at the moment. Almost. Does he actually hit that through the wall? I think he did. Scream got tagged down to 29 HP. Not going to be happy about that one. But yeah, they are in a position where the maximum amount of money they have is 1,350. So they don't want to lose anyone here. 1 player, okay, fair enough. You're still making a decent amount of cash. But anything more than that, and Envy are going to be pretty happy with how this round has actually gone. And they have actually gained complete mid control. There's only really Doppler looking to challenge. Nice pot flash comes out, which will allow him to peek. But all he's really gained at the moment is information. It does mean, however, that they are going to have 3 or now 2 players over on the site itself ready for this push to come in. So it's not bad positioning from the remaining players, and the bomb is going to have to go in this direction because there's only 25 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, there we go. Push comes in, but Pronax is first to deny it. He peeks out for more, but Schneider's got the support. XMS is down and out, and while these players are tagged up, EnVyUs is just losing manpower by the second. Sixer does get one, but him and Happy will get sprayed down, and Twist is just going to clean it up with the Europe GODSENT, having no issues on that site defense, only losing Pronax as well. And either way, not going to be too much of a matter for EnVyUs. They can still get the buy up. They've still got the rifles into this one, and an AWP could come into play. Sixer could get that body armor AWP in. Potentially. No, he's going to go for the rifle, playing it safe. Obviously, the issue is if he went for that AWP, he wouldn't have had enough money for utility at all, so that would have been a very risky one. But either way, GODSENT starting to build up their money here. They've got 3 in a row. They're looking good. They've just got to keep retaining as many players as they can alive into these next rounds. But look at that dink.
Schneider through the gap in the smoke. He's going to have to be very careful for the rest of the round. 2 HP, early damage done. They probably would have heard that as well. A little bit unfortunate. I'm guessing that must have clipped something, because they all have AKs on the other side, so for him to get tagged for 98 with an AK is quite surprising. There's going to be a little bit of aggression, or seemingly aggression from Pronax over towards A main. Maybe waiting for a flash to come in. Not going to be anybody in that direction. Happy will be able to hear all the movement currently going on as he sits in Squeaky. The rest of the team just waiting over towards middle. possibly for any sort of aggression to come out from the remaining CT players, but thus far we haven't seen anything. And interestingly, we're just going to look at Lekr currently boosted over towards the back of site on B, hoping that someone will push into his crosshairs. But once again, complete abandonment of mid from GODSENT, leaving Envy with a lot of control and a perfect position for XMS to actually split back into the site from Highway.
But Envy really giving up a lot of time for this one, that much as they did in the previous take. They are just going to be set up outside of A. This highway split will be perfectly timed from XMS, so he can push up and take down Pronex before the main push comes in. It could be good, but Pronex has already been removed. RPK's found that head. There's still one more towards the back of quad, and Schneider, how does he not go down there? Such low HP, still peeks out and takes down XMS. Eventually, RPK will drop Twist at the back of the site, getting the snake in the grass removed from the equation, and GODSENT now left on the retake. Plenty of utility to do so, but Schneider's so tagged up. They're actually just going to full on save. They throw in the nades and they back off, throw in the towel as well. As EnVyUs, they are given another round here. 3-3, looking very equal. And actually keeping 4 players alive, I doubt they'll be chasing this one.
Yeah, the T side in a similar situation to the Swedes at the moment with their economy. They don't have a huge amount that they can risk going into the next couple of rounds, so they're going to want to keep this one. Obviously, RPK getting both kills, entering onto the site, gets Twist at the back as well, doing the damage. Schneider didn't really have too much to go back into the round with, so I do definitely understand the call to actually save in this scenario. And if you look at the money that they have left, they're going to be able to drop a couple of rifles. The only difference will be there's no AWP this time for Twist. Yeah,
a bit of a handicap. At the end of the day, they can still get it done with rifles. Let's have a look into this one. EnVyUs just chucking over their guns. They're taking their time. Okay, I know they have the money. I was wondering where everything's going, but eventually they pick things up and get the ball rolling. And yeah, I mean, right now, GODSENT looking okay in the sense that they got this chance to reset onto EnVyUs' economy again. But if they do lose out on this one, it's likely going to be maybe even a double eco. Although some of the players have money, so only a single eco actually, I think. Even so, it's still quite dangerous. You don't want to be in that situation when the game was looking so good for you earlier on. And Happy just opening things up. Pronex is going to be flashed into the squeaky door there, gets taken down, and Happy just runs away. He doesn't even need to take that fight. He's got the man advantage, and RPK going to extend it furthermore as he takes down the aggression on B. Doppler reactively trying to push up over towards that other side of the map to try and catch someone out from EnVyUs. It's not going to work out at all. And GODSENT, they are losing manpower.
Yeah, and this is where a lot of teams will get into sort of a recurring theme for the rest of the round. You can see Twist doing it right now. Okay, well, we lost a man. Now I need to get it back. Okay, we lost a second man. Now I need to get 2 back. And he will continue to just aggress to try and find a little bit more. He spotted out the bomb. Scream is going to be aware. Now he's down to 17 HP as well. And the T is looking very strong for this round. Actually, almost getting sprayed down through the wall. Squeaky presence is also there from Sixer, who now has the AWP that was bought in the previous round and taken away from Twist. And yeah, another point to be added is he's actually now the AWPer for the team. Definitely not something that was sort of expected in the old roster when Kenny was there, but definitely see if this can actually rise his gameplay a little bit and step him up into what could be the primary AWP role for this team at least. But push will be coming in onto the A site. Now, reactively, the CTs do actually have some great positioning. A little bit of extra damage done onto Sixer through the smoke. But this is a lot to try and challenge, especially when you're already 2 men down.
Oh, and that jump from Lekr will just give it up. He goes for the kill onto Scream towards the back of Forklift, but accidentally hits his mouse wheel. That will be it. GODSENT going to miss out on this round. Not even by the skin of the teeth, just completely whitewashed. Only Schneider remains, and he's just trying to hold onto that gun. But to be honest, I don't know if they're even going to let him with this one. They have 5 players remaining. They could just chase, but actually EnVyUs decided to play it safer. I like this. So many teams... Yeah, well, I'm not talking about Happy because Happy doesn't count.
What is it? The team and then Happy?
Yeah, I said EnVyUs are saving. You know, EnVyUs are holding onto their guns. Happy is not part of it. Happy is just a lone ranger who just walks around. He does his thing. He likes to scout around the map occasionally, but he's not going to be able to find Schneider on the other side of the wall. So close in between, but he's just going to be holding onto that gun for the time being.
Look how cute they are together, right next to each other.
So unaware, blissfully unaware.
Now, this is where things get a little bit more difficult for the CT side. They don't look like they're going to fully invest into this round. Schneider will drop a Tech 9 over to Twist, and a couple of players can invest a little bit of money into this next round. Now, with the 2,400 loss bonus, they should be able to get a buy, so that won't be too much of a problem, even with an AWP, as Schneider has kept the majority of cash in his hands. Now, he's actually going to go for an aggressive push. This time, they do catch Happy. However, he's down to just 5 HP. I'd quite like to see Maybe that M4 dropped over towards Lekro because he still has a little bit of armor, but he's about to be pushed himself. RPK aggressively pushing over towards this B site. Now, if he goes down as well, they'll actually have a decent amount of rifles, and instead of dropping it to Lekro, Schneider has given it over to Pronax instead.
Yeah, one good opener is obviously favourable for GODSENT, but can they continue? Apparently so. Scream may tap down to it, but Pronax are 1-for-1, and a 4v3 going to favour GODSENT even more than a 5-on-4 because it's going to mean EnVyUs has less manpower. Remember, they have such better rifles into this round. Either way, we've got XMS pushed all the way up towards middle, and this is like a very clear A spot here from the side of EnVyUs. The rotation coming in from Doppler over towards the car, I think that should be heard from XMS. They should have some information on the whereabouts of some of the GODSENT players. As XMS, he probes down to middle. This is good. Sorry, Doppler probes out into middle. This is good. He could actually catch out this close position player. Takes the AK, but the footsteps going to give it away. XMS, free kill, and he takes them both. Pronax goes down towards the back of quad, and the A site has been open like a can of worms.
This is not really something I expect them to be able to take back in the retake. Schneider could actually just opt to keep his kit, Tech 9 armor, not really too much for him to challenge, and in fact, he has spotted out an AK as well. Lekro, in the meantime, will be able to get a kill, so making this costly at least. There's an AK on the floor, the boost is in play over towards quad, which means if he spots that out, I think he has. He should know that both players are there, but from his perspective, there's no value in actually challenging here. They're not going to be winning this round. The kit's too far away on Schneider anyway. Sixer just goes flying past, like going over the rainbow. But he won't get the kill, and that's just going to be the, okay, 2 extra rifles for GODSENT in this round, taking away 3 from Envy, and they can go back fighting in the next with a very, very good buy.
Yeah, really starting to steamroll back in the favour of the French side now. GODSENT, still, I'd say that's a fairly effective round considering they didn't really have much to it. They do make it work to some extent, and they have got a decent one coming into this. Snyder, he's not going to be on the Tech 9, although that would probably be preferable to the AK. He's going to pick it up anyway. And the double up as well. Going to be interesting to see how that's played. No one towards middle. It's surprisingly, this is one of the few maps where you don't see as much open control over towards middle as you do on the sites. It's very, very, well, not rare, but more uncommon at least to have an open towards middle because it's a lot harder to hold down both boost spot and garage unless you have some kind of double mid-play setup, and GODSENT aren't running that just yet. But XMS, he has opened things up. Schneider has traded over towards B, or over towards middle.
Schneider's spot. He's just got himself all the way into main, just behind the remaining players at the moment. He's got an AWP, he's picked it up, Tech 9. XMS still has no idea where he is. Eventually turns around, and now they're going to be homed on his position. He will go down, and the value of it is severely diminished, meaning that the man advantage actually goes back over him. With 2 AWPs, this is going to be very, very difficult to hold. One just sort of lurking at the moment in the form of Doppler, and he's still playing over towards mid, but rotating towards B, and then there's Twist trying to hold mid, but he's also got A main and Squeaky to worry about if they do push in the other direction, so very, very difficult to actually hold on to this round at the moment for GODSENT. In the meantime, spots are being cleared. He knows that they are around this area as they throw a Molotov into sandbags, but with 35 seconds, you know they're going to have to make their move soon. It's just whether they go A or B. And if they go A, well, good luck, Twist. You've got a hell of a lot to do.
Yeah, and it's seeming there's only one probing player. Just happy as the bomb makes its way down in towards the checkers. They will make a lot of footsteps, and with the time being so low, I think GODSENT are going to know this is the full commitment. Oh my god, RPK, what a shot onto Doppler. The orb just completely removed straight out of the equation. Lekro, he could delay the bomb here, but he's not going to be able to as RPK drops him as well. RPK's been doing massive work so far this map, 11-3 so far. And with 10 seconds left, Twist is going to run, but Happy is hot on his heels. Chasing him from behind. He's going to break the door. Twist, okay, not going to react. Doesn't hear it for some reason. He goes down. EnVyUs, they pick up the round, and they stop all saving players from GODSENT.
See, this is pretty much the perfect scenario for Happy's style of play. If you have a player who's just walking into the site and picking up the entries, he can just lurk, and that's absolutely fine. Now, in other scenarios where obviously the entries aren't coming in, they're not getting sort of the trades working effectively, that's where his sort of style becomes a bit more of a problem. But here it's absolutely wonderful because every time RPK's walking in, picking off one, and then as they go to retreat, Happy's just waiting in the shadows to finish off any extra players, making things very difficult for the economy of GODSENT. You can tell just by looking at the buy they have in this round. They've gone for a little bit of an investment, but the problem is now they've already lost the B site.
Yeah, Happy just cleaning up over towards middle, catching rotations left and right. It's just GODSENT left with primarily exit fraggers here at this point. They can't really commit to a retake, but they can try and grab some guns off and try and impact the economy of EnVyUs, despite that not really going to be affecting anything in the long run. Maybe able to bring some weapons into the next round, allowing a little bit more utility, but their money is quite good. The loss bonus is maxed out at this point, so leaving it all onto Lekro in the CT spawn. They know exactly where he is, and it's not only Happy chasing this time. We've got RPK pushed into the connector as Happy's going for the long flank, and I think Lekro's just about to be overrun. They've seen him, they're chasing him, and there we go. RPK going to close it. 13-3. He is just nutty today. Player who took a year-long break to go do real life work and then came back into the game and was still able to perform at the top level, and he is definitely proving that. Absolutely ripping GODSENT apart. And EnVyUs, very, very good money on their side.
Yeah, double up setup still going to be invested into in this round. Actually onto Lekro this time, so switching up who can AWP. Lekro's not really the person I'd go to, but we'll see if he can actually pull things off. Okay, goodbye Scream. Early round pick. And now we actually get to see how GODSENT play with the man advantage. They've had the disadvantage almost every single time we've seen them in this map so far, and had to have some big plays on the comeback. In terms of the remaining players coming out from Envy, there really isn't much aggression at all. They're all playing passively, waiting to see if the CTs make any mistakes and give them a pick back into the round. But I don't think they're going to. They've got absolutely no reason to. Pronak's going to go for a little bit of a peek over towards the boost, just to see if there's anybody trying to challenge in mid. They have been taking mid control a lot on the Envy side, and so it's understandable that he wants to find out any information early so that they can actually rotate off. But at the moment, you could just watch the rest of the players playing almost directly to the site. Disco boosted up with Lekro watching over towards Checkers, and then the rest of the players just one pretty standard over towards Fork, and actually on the site itself ready to pop flash in.
Yeah, this should be perfect, especially with Pronax moving down middle, meaning there's less players to take control of, but Sixer already opening things up. There's the first kill to Twist. Schneider just going to be alone, but actually the rotation's coming from Pronax. He's moved back in from the highway here, but Schneider, there's nothing to say about this. RPK is not missing his shot. Pronax is going to be able to trade. We're back into a 3-on-3, with Pronax still in a very lethal position. As long as he doesn't get caught up from Sixer and main, he could really do some damage. And Molotov, that should take down RPK, but it's Doppler to find the headshot. Sixer trades over from main onto Pronax, but the aggression coming out. That's a bad timing peek from Doppler. He turns around, right as Sixer rounds the corner. There will be the kill with the Tech 9 to finish it off. 8-3 in EnVyUs' favor, and GODSENT no money as well.
And it actually, that attack was just begun by the peek coming out from Twist. Trying to find a little bit more information out. Goes for the shot with the AWP. Sixer wins the duel. And instantly you just see Envy spring into action. They are playing a very reactive game style. We saw the second they lost that pick, they fell back and waited because they just knew. They thought that GODSENT would push. And, well, in this round at least, they're going to expect it again. Push over towards the B site. Aggression from the CT side to try and catch the T's off guard. It hasn't worked. And the first two picks will go over to the French.
I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot. Okay, Scream. Nice tap. But yeah, nothing going the way of GODSENT right now. Both players, at least on the B site, where the bomb seems to be heading, but not a lot of weaponry to work with. Pronax has a deagle, but no armor to support it. So one shot will render him completely useless. At least he can kind of play the bait and switch with Pronax taking the attention off of them, and Schneider should be peeking straight after. He's not going to, though. RPK finds the opener, and Schneider, he's just going to play for the one-on-one. Actually drops the bomb as well. Grabs an off to play with, but there's just too many players. He runs into a massacre. EnVyUs 9-3. GODSENT, again, a buy. But they're really not getting anything done on these buys. This is, what, 7 rounds in a row they've lost? And they are actually eventually going to call in a pause, and I like that. Finally.
Yeah, definitely seems like it's necessary from them at the moment. They are just... Well, they're losing to pretty basic pushes. That has to be said. We've not seen anything too crazy from Envy. They've been very easily taking over mid control and then just splitting onto one of the sites. And the problem with that is... it makes it very, very easy for a player to get isolated. We saw the AWP attempt to play over towards quad, but if you're pushed from both main and highway at the same time, the chance of your survival relies on you being absolutely insane and just turning around and killing both players. We saw the same when they lose forklift. It's just very, very easy for the teams to just pincer. So I think the main switch up they need to make is, okay, let's make sure we have mid control. Let's make sure we can control B as well. Maybe stick an AWP over there and have a little bit more aggression from Twist. And then if we lose the A side, site, okay, that's not too bad. It's very retakeable. If we have our utility, which they clearly do, just throw that into the back of quad, throw it into main, and we'll try and retake as a team, rather than, okay, well, we've lost highway, we've lost main, we've lost the pick over towards mid as well, then we lose the player over in quad, okay, now we're retaking 3 versus 4, 3 versus 5, which seems to be the case almost every single time.
To be honest, is it just me thinking that this game is basically over if they don't start to pick things up? At this ends, the 12-3 half, it can't come back. GODSENT, they don't have anything really. Going on to the less favoured side in theory, up against EnVyUs, who are clearly very well practiced on this map. It's so important that GODSENT finally clamp their foot down, because they need to have some kind of effect. They need to bring things back in their favour. We are just going to be waiting a little bit more before we go back into the game to see what GODSENT have up their sleeve. But at the end of the day, they are just losing out on those aim battles a lot of the time. RPK is completely destroying them. They're giving away a lot of peaks, as you said, and it's just not going their way. So let's see if they can switch things up as we go back into the match now. Just left for EnVyUs to unpause. Maybe they have something to add, but I doubt they have too much of the 9-3 scoreline. Probably just grabbing a drink or, just getting. I don't know where I was going with that, Tom. Save me.
TeamSpeak problems.
Yeah, TeamSpeak problems. There we go. We'll go with that one.
We could use their excuse too. It's always the case. Like, guys, my pizza's been delivered. TeamSpeak problems. Just TeamSpeak problem. But yeah.
I'll bring it back, Tom. TeamSpeak problems.
Doppler onto the AWP. Going to be the single this time. Twist clearly not feeling it. That is something that this team has always done. If one of their players doesn't feel like playing the AWP, they just switch it over. I think that's just a Swedish thing, really. Aggression from Pronex is actually going to spot a couple of players out towards mid. They're still playing quite a lackluster control in this position. They got Lekro as a little bit of support, playing relatively close to Z, but it still looks like he's more focusing on the B site rather than control over towards that mid position. And once again, they've got it easily. 3 players push out, already taking highway control. They do have a nice position in the form of Pronex, though. He's going to be caught with a nade in his hand, but luckily Schneider on the boost is able to find one, looking for the kill onto Sixer as well, and just about gets it, and that's the bomb as well. So this is already looking a lot better for the remaining players. RPK isolated over towards quad, and well, this is where we talk about the problems that we have with Happy sometimes. Left alone, stuck in mid, hasn't really had much of an impact, and was hoping to catch rotations. That's exactly what his role is. But if they don't win the site, then it sort of just looks like, okay, was he just sitting there? Oh, there's a little bit of a problem.
That's the thing. Happy's great if you're winning, but if you're not getting anything done, Happy is the most aggravating person to watch, right? Because it's if his teammates can't get the entries, he serves no purpose, it seems. Because look at this now, a 1v5, 30 seconds on the clock, we got everyone in sight. Let's see what we can do. 1 kill on Telecro. This is probably going to be it. There's a player behind him, and Pronex will swoop on him. Yeah, so I mean, if your team aren't getting the entries, there's nothing that Happy can do, because he's left as the last player alive, and that is just that's just unlucky, right? We'll go with that, Tom.
Yeah, I like the way that they switched up the setup a little bit, with Pronex actually playing close and the boost coming in from Schneider. The only problem is that boost position is one that you can't reuse, really. It's very, very difficult to constantly use that spot. I know that Maniac used to do it quite a bit, and with mixed results. Obviously, it is named Shroud as well, so I imagine he probably has a few highlight clips there. But it's one of those things where once they know you're playing it, you can't really do it again for at least a little while, and they've only got 2 rounds left, and you could already see they're not doing it again. They have, however, again, switched things up a little bit. They got 2 players a little bit further towards highway, so they can try and challenge for this control. Because, even though they won the round, they lost mid very quickly. It was just because they were able to take back over A main that it became a lot easier. They also lost quad. I don't really know how RPK got into quad when there was someone boost and someone playing highway. That seems a bit weird, but it doesn't matter. It worked. At the same time, it doesn't mean that it will work again.
Let's see how the latter stages of this half will go, though. Whether the reset will come in or whether EnVyUs are going to falter. Apparently not. Scream just taps onto Pronex in the middle like it's nothing. And the split down in through vents comes in. It will be Doppler alone on the site. The rotation from Lekro needs to come on back in, but he flashes his teammate in through. Doppler should be peeking with this, and he does. 1 quick kill. Looks in for more. There's a second through the edge of the smoke, and Doppler just going to run on back. He could go for more. Misses the no-scope, but still, he's done valuable work as EnVyUs have diminished to 3 players here on the site.
However, Lekro's aggression actually gets caught out a little bit more as his teammate falls back, meaning it will be back into a 3 versus 3. Six are losing a little bit of HP to the Molotov, but they are going to be forced back. Now, they are looking for a lurk. Now, this is another problem with when you play against Happy. If you haven't spotted him, you are scared of where he may be. So you can see that they're still a little bit worried about the players coming in from behind, but they are all over towards this B site at the moment. 6 are actually right in the back corner with just 4 HP. This molly could be enough to finish him off. In fact, they're going to double molly onto the site. He should be dead. There shouldn't be any way he survives this round, and Schneider will get that pick. The double smoke as well. This is quite nice. However, the molly is actually going to go back onto the bomb. They've used their smokes to stop players getting back in, and they may not be able to defuse the bomb in time. Twist is just going to have to jump right into the crossfire, try and defuse this bomb in time, but Happy, he's done the job. Stops them winning the round, and everyone will go down.
And there we go. There we see the good parts of Happy, playing it very, very passively, not peeking at all. Some would say baiting, but he gets the job done. He wins on the round, and that's the most important part, right? At the end of the day, if you're winning rounds, that's what's more important, you know? So he makes it work. 10 rounds to EnVyUs. The reset comes in right at the end of the half as well. And GODSENT, yeah, the double mag 7 going to be coming in. We have a few SMGs as well to play with, or at least one from Letcro. So EnVyUs definitely looking good to close this out in 11-4 fashion. And that would be such a dominant T-side to kick off this first map. Again, for those wondering, this is their map pick. This is only the first of 3, potentially. But at the rate this is going, I don't know if we're going to make it to 3, Tom.
Yeah, especially with the next being Train. That's still a map where I'm looking at it saying either of these teams could take it away, both having decent results on it. Obviously beating Heroic, who have looked very, very strong on Train. That was GODSENT, of course. And then a domination of Big in this tournament from Envy in a similar fashion. 16-4 they actually won, and XMS was phenomenal. But yeah, I do want to actually give props to them in the previous round. That retake attempt was quite nice. If it wasn't for the Molotov, I don't think they would have lost that. That one molly just ruined it. The 2 smokes fell, blocking off both situations, and the double mollies onto the site. However, I'm going to have to shut up, as they're now going to come pushing over towards this site. Pronax with a nice aggressive angle will catch one over towards mid. Letcro, you got a lot of work to do, buddy, but they're all pushing in your direction, and actually they're going to go past. This could be absolutely perfect. Peeks out, finds the first, still in from behind, gets a second as well. XMS just stuck. That should be a third for Letcro. I have no idea how he's getting away with this, doing so much damage, even to the remaining 2 players. And, well, there's no way that Envy are getting back into this round. Only 6 are left. 23 HP, using the Tech 9, and Prodax will peek out. Nice round from Letcro. We'll get one after the round is done, but, of course, that doesn't matter. And it will finish 10-5.
Actually, Tom, I'll have you know that you're wrong. It does matter. It's ADR. It's RWS. It goes on their HLTV page.
Does it count if it's after the round?
Yeah, it's a kill. It counts. Pretty sure that would count, just because it just, you know, takes it as a kill. Although you'll have to ask someone more knowledgeable, because I'm 100% guessing, but I assume so. Either way, surprisingly, GODSENT actually get back into that one with that kind of buy. It looked quite weak, but they actually get it up to 5 rounds. So yeah, this is doable. They could easily close this out. All they need is a pistol and then, well, a long comeback. But either way, EnVyUs up on their buy. They've got 1 smoke kit player on XMS. The rest of them armored up. And GODSENT, they've got the double nade buyer. They've got some kind of strategy up their sleeve. And but the fact that they're already positioning outside of A, it's looking like it's just going to be a standard A take. Twist with the smoke to go over towards that car position, and the Molotov maybe for the post plant. The smoke already going out for Pronax. That's a deep smoke over towards car. That's quite interesting. Let's see what they do with this one. Twist as well, throwing his out. And it's very, very standard. They're just going to rush on in. EnVyUs playing for retake. And this is a dangerous thing, right? Because they still have this Molotov. Oh, no, I take it back. They've already used it.
I think that must have been over towards either Quad or MBK, but yeah, but they're going to use all their utility just to get onto the site. A little bit unlucky, because in retake rounds, you could actually just walk out and they're none the wiser, but obviously that's a very risky strategy to take. In the meantime, we are going to see this pushback in. Smoke thrown out from the CT side. Twist actually in the back lines, and he's going to be able to get one, just denying them any sort of push. And the remaining players, they've actually got 2 over towards Squeaky. Now, I'm not a fan of a Squeaky position in a retake scenario, but if you can peek out, they're actually going to be going for this. He's just going to ninja it. He's just going to ninja the bomb. Oh, no. Okay. I've never liked Squeaky as a position for, like, trying to hold on to a bomb plant, because you can't actually stop the bomb without peeking out, which obviously means you have a terrible advantage versus players who could just sit. Putting 2 in there, I've never seen that before. That's weird. And obviously 6 with the kit is just going to sit there and defuse the bomb.
They're just trying to be surprising, and to be honest, sometimes it works, but on a pistol round, it's too risky. I feel like that's something you do on an eco or a force if you end up in a good situation, but what did we just see? EnVyUs. I mean, GODSENT had everything going for them, right? They got a free bomb plant, free site control, and then they could have even closed out the round, but they completely
threw it away. They had a flank as well.
Yeah, they had everything going for them. There's a chance to get back into this match. And now they're even forcing things up into the second round after a bomb plant. This is so risky. If they win it, it's a huge reward because EnVyUs have obviously got a fairly light investment with a full SMG buy, which I'd like to say makes me want to vomit. But GODSENT, even so, if they lose out on this one, EnVyUs are going to be gifted 2 free rounds, up to 13 without even a contestation for GODSENT.
Yeah, risk versus reward. That's always the question. Obviously, as you said, the French are going for a relatively risky buy themselves. No rifles in play, except the one that Doppler has just now dropped for Scream. So, not going to be making things any easier for themselves. The one rifle is gone, and you've handed it over to the one-tap machine.
Twist cornered out in middle, and Scream, he is getting that job done, as you would suggest. Like Grote, not able to get himself out of the squeaky position. The Molotov will force out Happy, and okay, he gets the one dig. Pronax follows up with a Tech 9 kill as well. This is suddenly looking good for GODSENT, despite there being still better weaponry for EnVyUs. SMGs versus pistols. It's a complete toss-up here with the bomb. It's dropped over towards B, and we can instantly see Sixer rotate. He doesn't want to risk this one. Backs off towards the site. Electro knows there's no time left for this one. He's going to start to push him back towards A, trying to find himself a gun, find something to play with or save, because right now it's going to be the round going to EnVyUs. 12-5. The force by not paying off, but if they had a little more time or played that faster, that honestly could have been their round.
I wonder if the AK is actually still in mid for him to collect. Nobody's picked it up. It may not matter. Sixer, is he going to get this kill? Yep, going to add insult to injury for this site. And actually, that's after the round. That's painful. Electro now going to have absolutely nothing. Just buys a P250 to try and do a little bit of extra damage. We'll have something like a Tech 9 going into the next round as well, as they will only get themselves 2,400. Maybe able to get an I suppose, but that is not the way that round needed to go. Obviously, Doppler going down with a rifle very early on. That was the hefty investment that they went for. And, yeah, that has not gone to plan. And now, although we've had a few close rounds, this is going to inflate the scoreline massively, and you can already see the confidence coming out from Envy with sheer aggression with these UMPs. They know the likelihood is there's no buy coming in this round. It would be a little bit of a madness play from GODSENT, even for their standards, and they're just going to look to make as much money as they can with these SMGs. Obviously, only one rifle currently in play, and that's on Scream.
Yeah, no way they'd really force into this one. That would be absolutely ludicrous. So EnVyUs are just playing it perfectly, aggression across the board, and it's working out phenomenally. They're not even losing players. XMS going to clean up, happy to join him as well. Who doesn't want those anti-eco frags? As EnVyUs are going to pick up 13 rounds. GODSENT, their last chance to get back into this match. Or, I mean, in theory, right? If they get a bomb plant here and a loss, they can still buy up next round. But still, this is their best possible point of entry. As EnVyUs, look at their buy, Tom. It's still fairly weak. They're going for the bonus round. Despite them having a couple of players with 6k, 4, 3k, they've got loads of cash. They just want to go for the risk buy. They want to pull in the SMGs, and that's the thing. Even if they lose out on this round, right, they can get a full buy next round with ups if they want, and then potentially reset GODSENT's economy right at the worst possible spot. So these kind of rounds are really, really good.
What they've done. A very aggressive push over towards this A site. Like, all of the players other than Happy have just gone very aggressive through Squeaky and A main. They've actually managed to keep this in an even scenario. And Happy's actually going to get another one. He even hits the dink. Molotov going to go down to try and deny them. Will he survive in the corner? Lecro is not quite going to spread. He's going to get a little bit lucky. I don't think it was quite as close as I thought it was. But even still, just a little bit further on the throw, and we could have seen another player down. Molly onto the site. Obviously, utility is something that is definitely in play at the moment for the French side. They've got plenty of cash. As said, this is a bonus round, so anything more. Schneider about to get dunked down to 26 HP. Molotov onto the site, going to make things even more difficult, and this is a great position for Envy to try and retake. Yeah, low HP on 2 players is going to be a great handicap in the favor of the French. They have the utility for it, but they need to hurry the hell up, because the issue is GODSENT have a good after plants back in towards the B main position. Although Schneider picking up early, gets taken down. Scream follows up with a second, and now he's in a 1v1. It's Lekor alone. 15 HP. The bomb is for him. The time is low. The Scream has a kit. He can just jump right on this bomb. We'll tap it, but Netco's not even going to peek for it. He knows it's a bait. He knows it's a fake, but he actually walks into it. What happened? Either way, Scream's got no time for the bomb, so it will be him holding onto the gun. And GODSENT, that was very, very close, really bringing it back down to the wire, and they cannot afford to take those kind of risks and get down to those 1v1s, because they've got a long, long road to a comeback. Yeah, and even when you look at it from their point of view, yes, they won the round, but it was versus what? Was it 4 SMGs and 1 rifle? So the T side, or CT side, are not going to be sitting there going, that was a failed round. They took down every single player on GODSENT and can now buy back up flawlessly as well. This is almost the ideal scenario to reset them going into what will be the last 2 rounds of the half. So it's not a good situation, and GODSENT are now backs up against the wall. They have to win this round. Otherwise, well, the chance of them winning is very slim. But that is a lovely shot from Twist. Will give them the opening frag, and actually mean that there's a little bit more of a rotation from XMS, leaving just just Happy alone on this A site.
He is very used to being alone. In CS, that is.
Did Twist spot his head?
Yeah, Twist should have, right? He was just jumping. He completely exposed himself. But now that's going to pull in a rotation. XMS has come in from Highway. They now have 2 players. And Twist, what is this? He's just walking right out. No smokes needed. And Happy's going to deny the first player as Pronax gets dropped. Twist, though, his little sneaky push. It does work out with a kill. Happy goes down, but XMS, he's just baiting harder than Happy does. Sitting on the back of the site, and he's done great work. 1 quick kill. And Sixer is going to be the last man standing as EnVyUs, they have fallen short.
Yeah, important stuff as well from this T side. They needed this round. It should be under wraps at this point. Sixer with the AWP. Not really going to want to try and challenge too hard in this situation. Obviously, he wants to keep this into the next round. The rest of his team are going to get 1900, which would mean he can... Well, 2 of them can buy. It's whether they actually want to risk it. And you have to look at the fact that they are still going to be 6 rounds in front. I would quite like to see them just go for a Catalyst AWP play. Let him go aggressive. Try and take some sort of challenge. If the AWP gets struggled, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, he has to keep it, but, well, Twist gets completely denied. And you have to remember in this scenario, for them to be hunting here, I think that's madness, because they do not have a lot of money.
This is actually, yeah, I mean, this is close to being brought back, right? And you can see EnVyUs calling in the pause is going to be the best example of that. They clearly are a little bit worried. They don't want to allow GODSENT to just sneak on in, because that's the thing. If EnVyUs play overconfident, like, oh, it's okay, you know, we got 11 to 4 half or 10 to 5 half, we're not worried, and things start to crawl their way back. The only rounds, taken into account, EnVyUs have actually picked up so far this half have been the pistol and the 2 anti-ecos. So, realistically, GODSENT could easily bring things back to a more contestable scoreline, especially with the kind of buys that we're seeing from EnVyUs and the economy of them right now. Right now, though, Tom, what are you calling? Would you like to see a buy, or are we going to stick with the eco, though?
No, I don't want to see a buy here from Envy. I think that they're in a situation where they still have plenty of rounds to play with. There's no way that they can get a buy good enough that you could really warrant going for it. In the next round, they'll get 2,400, which will boost the majority of players up to at least a decent amount of money. And you already know that if you kill 2-3 players here, the brink of the economy is still going to be very, very bad for GODSENT. So really, like, there's obviously an argument for it. You've just got them down to 2 players. You win this round, you pretty much win the game. But if you then fully force into it and lose this round, you hand them over another, and it's getting sort of 9-13, they're only 4 rounds away, you make another mistake, and they're right back on your tail. So I like the fact that they've just sort of half-bought. If they do a lot of damage here, it's going to be perfect for the next round. If they lose this round, they still have a bye. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw from GODSENT, at least on the first half. But this time, it's going to go very, very well to the T's. Pronax have opened things up. XMS has gone down with the aggression early on in main, and Sixer with the push up with the AWP, not able to get similar results as he's going to fall short. Has to back off towards the site, but at least they have a triple play over towards this one. Scream's going to finally drop off back in towards the connector, or actually towards the B site, but GODSENT still posted majority of the players outside of A, and actually completely read wrong by EnVyUs as they move Happy off of the site as well. It's on to Sixer. While it is good, putting the one rifle player alone on the site as an anchor, they still need more control because there is about to be a full rush of Swedes, and that is not something you want to be if you're a French player.
He's sat in a decent position. There is a rotation already in from Happy. Molotov going to force him out of position. Actually, well, no, second Molotov will force him out of position. He's going to have to throw the smoke down. It bounces on the Molotov for a second, and he's going to miss the shot. That was one he needed to connect, as he will now lose his life at the cost of absolutely nothing. And, well, now it's down to the remaining players to at least try and make this costly. Doppler is low. RPK, he has been the king of the T side. Very quiet so far, CT, but so have the majority of players over on Envy. And he's just looking to try and at least do some damage. Now, GODSENT, they need a round like this. They have been losing players left, right, and center, only down to 2 in the last round. 0 players surviving in the round before. So to keep as many as they can alive here is going to be absolutely crucial, but they've already lost 2. And if they lose a third, this is just as bad as the previous. I don't know why they're still challenging. He has a pistol, guys. It's not the end of the world if he keeps it.
No, but at that point, when you know where he is, you've got to just chase him down. It's a mentality, right? Even though it doesn't make sense economically, a lot of players will always do that, and I don't blame them. I do that in matchmaking. I do that to get that global rank, you know, always on the grind. So I'm sure it's very similar.
Wow, this is a real safe buy. No, I'm not talking about... I know that you're bad. I don't need to comment on that. But they're actually just going to go for pistols yet again. They really want to have as much utility as they can going into this round. The only thing with that is that means that in the last round, if they just didn't buy what they bought, then they could have had a full buy in this one. So I'm less of a fan of that. I assumed they would actually buy into this round. Maybe it's because of how much damage they did. I don't really understand this one, actually. I think if you're going to invest small amounts in the last round, you have to balance it so that you combine to this one. Otherwise, all you're really doing is giving GODSENT 2 rounds, which was sort of the point of you not fully buying in the previous. Otherwise, now you've just got the same scenario. You lose this round, and all you've really done is say, hey, GODSENT, here's 2 rounds. Now we'll buy.
Passing towards B, though. RPK going to get flashed in for a bit of play. As he pushes up towards that box, but now they know exactly where he is. And, oh, look at the wall bang. Not too much damage, but he's down to 55. Even so, they know exactly where he is, so they will not continue up on towards his B push until they have completely cleared out the spot. And as a result of him spotting the bomb, they've rotated Scream as well into the site with that Deagle, so they've got a lot more control for the side of EnVyUs. RPK still pushed up. Oh no, Pronax is spotted. He still counter sprays through the smoke though. Lands a kill, and Scream's going to have to back off as he is left with just Sixter on the site who doesn't even have armor to defend himself. Scream going for these dirty deags, and he does land one, but Schneider trades. Sixter gets to think. He is alone, and again, lack of armor. This will just be the overrun by Twist.
Happy trying to do some extra damage with that CZ. A couple of low players. XMS actually coming in from behind. Will be able to get one, but now it's all on Happy. If he could drop another player, he's still making it costly, but it's getting to that point now where they need to get themselves up high on the board. They've allowed GODSENT to get right up in their grill once again. 4 rounds is the difference. And now we will see the buy, and it's a good one. It's a good one. They've saved for this for quite a while. They've lost a couple of rounds in a row, enabling them to get everything they desire. They still only have 1 kit, which is quite surprising considering how long they've saved for this, and it is going to be on RPK, and almost Doppler with the timing shot. He actually gets given the ult from Twist just to go for that peak, and it is worthwhile. He tags XMS down to 17 HP early on. Still not quite going to be the kill that he wanted. No, still deadly despite being tagged up. GODSENT going to be walking into the site where he is playing, and that will be A. As you can see, Pronax is taking early control over towards the A main position. Letcro as well, as he usually is, forced up in Squeaky. GODSENT looking ready, like they want to go for some kind of A play, especially with Doppler moving away from that B site, giving up the control into the favour of EnVyUs. Luckily for him, though, no one's getting aggressive on the city side, because if they did, they would have the full knowledge of where GODSENT are hitting. There's not even control towards middle, barely, as Doppler's left and just sitting in the garage holding for the push. With a minute left on the clock, GODSENT still have time to aggress. They need to find a pick, because it's going to be so difficult playing this 5-on-5. And there's the pick. Schneider finds it. They will play reactively off of it and push right out onto the A side. Only 2 defenders left. Doppler finds a rotation as well, as he takes down one onto RPK. And EnVyUs, they have got to pull out some instant kills. Scream still over towards Fork. Is going to be able to drop the bomb. Looking for more, but Pronax very easily able to trade. And once again, Sixer with that AWP is just going to have to duck out of the round. And I do have to question a couple of things in that round. XMS, why are you re-peaking when you have 17 HP? That just makes no sense to me. He goes up onto the balcony, just as you say, oh, yeah, no, they need to find a pick, and he just peeks out and hands it to them. Almost too easy for these T players if they can just be handed kills like that. And then all it came down to from then on was trading. Just walking in, you'll see a couple of kills go either side, and the Ts, with the advantage, automatically win it out. So, not looking too good at the moment. Their CT side has not been promising at all, other than the sort of follow-up rounds from the pistol. They haven't won a single buy round, and they haven't really had many buy rounds because they've been saving so much money to actually get all the investment they wanted. They had all the utility, they had the AWP, and it really didn't have that much of a, well, difference at all. All it did was slow them down to the minute timer.
And this is crazy as well, because I said if GODSENT don't pick up the pistol round, this is just going to be closed out. And not only did they not pick up the pistol round, but they also lost the 2, well, the force buy and the eco from that one as well. So they have come back so far from a 13-5 scoreline all the way back to a 13-10, not giving up a round in the last 5. That is very, very good here, considering they're up against EnVy, who had a really, really dominant first half. And even so, going into this one again, bit of investment, not too heavy. It's going to be likely a free round for GODSENT, likely an 11-13 if they play it correctly. Although the flashes, everyone is going to be blind over towards EA site. Not a good start. No one gets a pick, but the nade will put off a bit of damage over towards XMS and Sixer.
The RPK, the Lone Ranger over towards this B site, as they have attempted to stack A. I wouldn't even say there's been an over-dedication to A just yet from GODSENT either. They've had a relatively easy time of taking either site. Now RPK is just going to be using his utility to actually slow them down. Try and almost give a false sense of security that, yeah, there are players here, but there's the peak from Sixer. Once again, trying to make something happen with that AWP. It's a heavy investment for something that really has had next to no impact at all. So really may have to consider not purchasing that and just getting extra utility on the board. XMS is going to be able to do just as much with the CZ, and Twist will take him down through the smoke, leaving Happy and Scream to try and challenge versus 4.
And it's just not going to happen. Doppler comes in from Connected, does take down Happy. The Deagle left alive, but Scream isn't. As GODSENT, they get that quote-unquote free round with only the cost of 1 player. Now going into the next buy from EnVyUs. If they don't pick this one up, it is going to be Even Stevens. Not Equal Stevens, Tom. Even Stevens. As it's likely going to be the anti-eco again from GODSENT, and then just 13-13. Considering how expensive it is to buy up on the CT side, you need a little bit in reserve alongside that 3,400 loss bonus that EnVy are possessing to go for the buy. So most definitely they're not going to be investing next round.
There we go.
More than a few pistols, but at least they've actually started off a round well. Six has got the first kill.
Yeah, double op setup in play. Happy back with that classic cash AWP. He's going to be back over towards quad, but more importantly, Sixer has managed to have an impact. The problem they have at the moment is there is a little bit of a lackluster defense, and there is going to be a push through the smoke, but Sixer will get himself a second, finally stepping up with that AWP. The push, in the meantime, is going to continue onto this side, and with support from RPK, they should be shutting this down. He's going to go for the knife, and he'll get it as well. Let Crow, you've just been daggered, and all that leaves left is Pronax. Trying to push back in. We normally expect the other in-game leader to be lurking around middle. This time, it is the mastermind of this GODSENT team, and he's got to try and find 5. First, will come in. Obviously, at least doing damage. There's no more loss bonus anymore for EnVy, unless, of course, he manages to win this round, which I think I would be almost horrified if he did. Scream is not going to allow that dream to come true, and, well, that will be a round finally on the board, but we know that there's going to be a buyback from GODSENT.
Yeah, for sure. They've built up all this cash. Why not spend it now? The perfect opportunity to reset and close out the game. And while obviously this is good for EnVy to finally get themselves back on the board after a long streak away, they've had a bit of a holiday. They are still, in this one, potentially able to completely throw this game if they don't pick up this next round, because the reset is to crunch their money so hard. Bit of cash in the reserves, but loss bonus obviously not big enough. So let's see. Boost up into middle here. Warper's going to be up there. It's Twist on the side of GODSENT. Not really much control for anyone to get a pick, but talking about pick, Six has actually done it. He's taken down Doppler over towards the B main area, just holding on towards the back of Jekkers, and he just walks right into it. Doesn't even need help from his teammates, apparently. He'll just go down, leaving Lekro to pick up the pieces, and he will do so over towards EA site. Nice entry so far from GODSENT. EnVyUs overextended a little bit too much, and Twist is going to follow up as well over towards middle. This is good so far from GODSENT. They've got themselves a 3-on-2. EnVyUs left on just a couple other players, and RPK, well, he will get one. It's just trade after trade after trade. GODSENT are so quick on the trigger. It's all onto Sixer.
Has woken up a little bit in the last couple of rounds. I think he should know that Twist is low. He's actually going to go rotating back around. Now, he could save in this scenario, try and take the AWP. He got a couple of players on his team who can buy into the next. Twist actually going to be boosting up. Did he actually spot his head? I wonder. It doesn't look like Sixer is really going for too much in this scenario. If he was looking to challenge, I think it's more based on a mistake, and there's the mistake.
Okay.
Twist is actually going to go down. Caught out in the open. The bomb is ticking pretty fast, and that is going to deny Sixer any chance to actually go for this, but I'm actually disappointed he didn't, because he must have known he'd done quite a bit of damage to Twist. Just the amount of bullets that connected on the edge of that smoke. it's a very, very close game at the moment, and actually not going for it here. Yeah, okay, he has the AWP, and they can probably drop a rifle, then Happy can buy, XMS can buy, but they're actually going to go for a save again, so I don't know. I feel like Envy are almost going too far the other way of what we used to see. Like, they used to be the team that would force buy in every sort of occasion. Now, they're saving in every occasion.
Yeah, I do understand not going for it. I agree. I would have liked to have seen it, but the thing is, coming into this buy, or not buy, you need that one rifle to play around, right? You need that up that you can throw between players to try and get something done. It's their potential to actually have a success around in this eco. This GODSENT have just completely slapped banging in the face on this reset. But Six is on the wrong side of the map so far. Got a lot of pressure up towards the A site. Letcro going to be looking in through the door. It's XMS holding the angle with the Deagle, but he's spotted out over from main. And the chair actually going to block his view as he tries to peek out from the forklift. Letcro taking him down as well over to Squeaky. And EnVyUs, oh no, here's where it happens, Tom. Here's where the 1v1s, they just favour GODSENT because pistols are not going to get the job done. The AWP has been shown, but they're just going to smoke it out. They don't even need Sixer to take the fight. As GODSENT, they take full control of the A site. Sixer has to go huge.
PK is actually going to be able to get one. So does Sixer. Actually bringing this back to the advantage. Scream just about going to go down, but his trades across the board, leaving just Twist left. The bomb yet to go down. He's into a 1 versus 2. Scream is already dead. It was actually Sixer with the AWP once more, and he's going to get himself 3 kills. Finally, another round from him. He's actually doing pretty well with this AWP now, and well, we talk about Catalyst Orb, we talk about the idea that players can individually take a round by storm. He's done it with a little bit of help from RPK.
Yeah, and now are you happy he held on to that gun, Tom? Because he has completely turned this game around. It was looking like GODSENT would be able to bring this back to the last.
He could have done it in the last one.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been
that.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been a reset. That's why it's better now. He actually reset them. Whereas it would have just been 2 rounds in a row, which wouldn't have crippled GODSENT's economy. They wouldn't have had such a weak buy here. So, if anything, if anything, it's helped.
Entry kill from Doppelin. He has started things off for his team. Double AWP set up once again in for the French. They've hit that 15 marker. One more and they take the map, which they probably should have taken quite a while ago. But it's not done yet, and well, with the man advantage already over to the Swedes, they're going to be looking to continue in similar fashion. Mid control, again, it seems to be a problem for both teams at the moment. T-side have been able to take relative control over it, although Disco seems to be aware, well, obviously after the vent was broken, but he seems to be aware that they have actually gone aggressive. In the meantime, Scream's actually going to even up the scoreline. And so RPK gets himself another one, bringing the man advantage over for a split second, until Letcro takes his head clean off.
With 3 players walking into just one, Scream has to go massive. The rotation from Happy as he checks in towards middle is dangerous because it leaves the highway open to Scream. And while no one's hitting there, he's got that in the back of his mind. There could be someone up highway. Happy will probably check it from this position as he's cleared out the middle area. But no, he's actually rotating back in towards the A site, I think. And this is going to be perfectly timed because with 20 seconds left, as soon as they spot the first player, they know this will be the commitment. Scream, I think he's got a bit of an inkling that it's coming on in. And there we go. This flash going to go out. Pronet's going for it. EnVyUs, they are going to start to mow these players down. 1, 2, and Shiner, he's only got 5 seconds left. It's all over. EnVyUs, they've done it. They picked up 16 rounds, and somehow, after a huge streak from GODSENT, it's just not going to go their way.
Yeah, it is going to be map number 1 going in the favor of the French. Taking this one, it took them a little while to get themselves going, and towards the end, well, it looked like in that round at least they did run out of time. Of course, for anybody wondering, if you do want to see any of the matches previously played in this tournament, they are all on the YouTube channel for Starladder English, which you can find in the description. And of course, if you enjoyed the cast, you can check either me or Hugo out on Twitter by typing !casters in the chat. Either way, we're off for a break. Map number 2 is coming up. It's going to be Train, and GODSENT want to make their comeback.